I guess the racist comment that I've heard before is that I'm too white, and sometimes my area is like urban area, so I am involved with like various cultures. So like my town is like divided into different sectors, and I live in the sector where like the ghetto people live. So I associate myself sometimes with some of the African Americans there, and I've been called like trying to be black, or you're not black, so why are you trying to be black?
I guess not really like seriously. I guess like joking, because like on my floor, like my side of the floor, and like my friend group on my side of the floor, like I'm the only like white person, or like one of the only white people. So like if I'll like play my music or something, they'll be like, oh wow, that's white music. Like what are you listening to? Like they'll come in and be like, what is this? But nothing ever like serious, like that intentionally meaning to hurt me.
Well, this one time, because I have really big curly hair, so it can get really, really big and frizzy. And I was like chilling out on the lounge, and this guy, this one kid was like, "Oh my God, from the back you look like an Igga," and I was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" Like, I don't know. Like he was trying to like put like my hair with that like word, and I was like, "Wait, what do you mean? Like, what is?" I don't know. And he wasn't. Like he was an international student, so I wasn't even sure like what he knew about the history behind that word, or like what he knows about like racism here. So yeah, it's pretty weird.
People would ask me like, does your hair grow? And I guess because I'm black, they don't think black people's hair grows, but black people they can have long hair, and it just all depends on how you take care of it. So I mean, I was never like offended by it, but I was always confused, because it's like, why is it that because I'm black that my body is different from yours?
Yeah.
So that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, but I'm a bad example. I'm of mixed descent. I'm Hispanic, Romanian, and Polish. But I identify more with like the Romanian Polish side. I don't really feel like as like traditionally Hispanic, so I even call myself like racial epithets sometimes just as a joke. But I've never really felt like negatively discriminated against per se. But I could just be a minority with that.
A couple, yeah. Like maybe some nights I'll go out, and then I'll get like Asian something, like Asian persuasion or something like that. I don't know.
Of course, I'm like a quarter white, quarter El Salvadoran, a quarter Puerto Rican. I've been called cracker, spick, and mostly everything named in the book called it a mutt.
I'm sure I've been stereotyped before, but it's not hasn't affected me at all. I mean, I'm a white Latino guy, born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn, lived around all kinds of people, all colors, all races, all cultures. So it doesn't bother me. People I've said things, I've said racist things, I've said messed up things. They say it back. It's fine. It doesn't bother me.
I experience that every day here at Rover. I'm black. Like, for example, I could just be in t-shirts or shorts. Somebody might walk right past me, cross the street, and then cross right back. It happens all the time. You get used to it, you deal with it, but it's just another little microaggression that always reminds you that you're black. So.
I'm sure I have experienced it, but because of my privilege, I haven't noticed it.
I might have, without even knowing, but I can't really like specify.
I mean, I'm sure I've had, because I am white, so I can't think of like a specific example in my head, but definitely exists. So.
Being white, I don't know. I haven't, but I don't know anyone who I guess has. I'm sure it's probably happened before, but I don't know. I have not.
Yeah, I experience white privilege every day. People don't look at me and think like, oh, they're gonna rob a store, or they have a bomb in their backpack, or even as a white female, I'm pretty sure other females haven't looked at me and been like, I'm afraid that I'm gonna get raped. I think being a white female in the town that I grew up in, I never experienced racism. I never experienced classism to me personally, but other people have, obviously. And so I don't know, I don't live in the bubble that a lot of other people do, because I think if you continue your life taking what white privilege gives you, then you're not going to be a successful member of society ever.
Okay.
So wait, I wanted to. So how do you think, in conclusion, how do you think we can combat like white privilege? Because a lot of the people we've interviewed have actually when we've asked that one question, they've reacted really what even. They always try to sound really politically correct, and it shows on camera. So how do you feel like we can combat that?
I think white people, including myself, including my friends, including my family, need to take themselves off of the pedestal that American history has kind of dictated to white people. And that's just the thing. It's the way that we have assimilated into American society, where even if the glass ceiling is broken, even if racial barriers are broken, white people are still going to be the majority, even if their population makes them the minority. White people are always going to be the most successful in American society. And for as long as I live, I don't think we will ever be able to combat white privilege, because white people don't like that. They don't like being taken off the pedestal that they've been on since 1776, since this country was so wonderfully founded.
Yes, definitely. I think yes, it's definitely diverse. Of course, we have everybody here, but at the same time, it is definitely segregated as well, because we can all see it. There's Asians all the way on Bush. There's
well, now Livingston is kind of
and Living, yeah, Bush
Livingston
and Living
is kind of weird because it was a predominantly black campus, but now that obviously we've upgraded.
Example, in my class, I don't think that even I think we even do it on our own too, because even in my class, my teacher even stated how my professor even stated how literally when you come into our class, it's Afromusicology. All the black kids go to one side of the room, and then all of the Asian kids go to the other side of the room. And so she asked us why do you do that? And we're well, because honestly, we wanted to say at first because we know these people, but I didn't even know anybody in that class. So it was really just because we just go to people who look like us.
Do you have any?
She brought up a good point. I also think that College Ave is the most diverse, but I wouldn't say it's the most welcoming. It's not welcoming about it is that there's a lot of white fraternities and sororities over there, and I know I definitely wouldn't be welcomed at one of those if I went to try and go to one of the parties or something like that. I've seen people get turned away from their parties and stuff like that, and if we're all about a school for diversity, I don't see why we can't come party with y'all. So the main thing being that I think we bring the party. So so
we are the party.
We are the party, exactly. So it's just I think that's definitely not welcoming, and I think that you can just not only is it not welcoming, but when you walk down College Ave, do you see one black fraternity or sorority house?
I think it's diverse in the sense that everyone here is not white, but I think they kind of do oversell it to an extent too. You don't have people from you don't have a large quantity of people from all these different countries. I would argue that most of the people are from maybe 5 countries or regions.
Rutgers is diverse, but they oversell it when you're applying and you're going through the process before you start, because the majority of the students at Rutgers are from New Jersey, central New Jersey. Yeah.
I've had 2 non-white professors in 5 years, and they were both really, really good. But yeah, and I take a lot of African American studies classes and things like that. So maybe I'm sure if I hadn't, I wouldn't have encountered a black professor or a non-white professor.
I think maybe just 1 or 2.
I have 1 black professor, and I think that's it.
And how many years have
I lied, and a Latino professor.
And what year are you guys?
I'm a freshman.
I'm a sophomore.
My major, I'm exercise science, applied kinesiology, so I can do PT. It's, I don't know if it's diverse. People of my color are trying to diversify it, but it's predominantly, I would want to say, less minorities are involved. So I don't think it's diverse, but if more minorities keep, approaching it, it will be diverse.
Well, I'm a journalism major, so I feel it's kind of diverse, and I feel the women's and gender studies major is also pretty diverse, because it deals a lot with intersectionality, which is sort of the core of feminism. but I feel like overall it's still like pretty whitewashed because like they have a culture.
I'm also a journalism media studies major, and I'm a double major in Latino Hispanic Caribbean studies. So obviously, Latino Hispanic Caribbean studies is completely diverse. But I'm gonna go against what she said for JMS, in that a lot of the, like, you know, the big people in JMS, a lot of whitewashed people, like whitewashed professors. You don't see a lot of Black or Latino representatives in that field. So we're here to break that bond.
My major, I am the only Black female in many of my classes because I'm an engineer.
Wow.
So I see very few of my own kind.
And how does that make you feel?
It's difficult because when I speak out, it's like, that girl's talking, that girl's speaking. And it's like, I'm not that girl, I'm just a Black girl.
I think your major is like, I don't think your like color or like your ethnicity or background have to do with like the major you pick, but I mean, like, I've never noticed that, but now that you brought it up, I'm like, actually no, I don't know. I really don't know. I think that like anybody could pursue anything, but I do think like once you're done and like career-wise, like when you get out, it might be harder to find jobs. Like if you're like a color, like if you're a woman.
Simply to continue to support their own interests in the diverse community. Yeah. I think that like white institutions here, Rutgers or the norm institutions, like aren't good enough for the minorities to then support their voices through. As far as that's the case, it probably will take generations to change, but honestly, it's just to continue to support their own interests and make sure that they're heard. That's the basic reason, I would imagine.
I mean, I feel like since we're the minority, the majority won't really represent us. So if we don't represent ourselves, it'll be hard for them to represent us because, you know, it's the bulk of people who are trying to get Rutgers. So we would get left out if we don't speak up.
I think a little bit, at least from my personal experience, because I'm Indian. Sometimes I do see some Indian food or attempts at Indian food, which I do appreciate, but I can't really speak for other cultures.
Yeah, I agree with the Chinese food there. I think that it does exemplify different cultures, but you know, sometimes it doesn't taste the best.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's not so good. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they try to be more so Livingston than any other one. Like I know that sometimes they do like in New York, like Indian food, they do. But like not really. Like sometimes they did like, what did they do like a few weeks ago? Like last semester or like last year, I don't know. It was like Caribbean night or something that I tried to do it, but like not really. They're also like not like vegetarian friendly really.
State your names.
Hello.
Your names?
Your names.
Sean. Graham.
I think the Converse Douglas, sent me some emails to ask me join them. I think it's more about the Black people.
Say it loud. George Bush doesn't care about what.
Excuse me? Do you guys have a press test?
No.
Then I'm gonna have that.
Yes, Gaga, you look so good.
Have you ever?
Bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way.
Ever had any racial comments made about you?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
In school, like, we're a very diverse group of people. I think we're very well.
So we do have a very diverse group of people.
Okay, state your name.
Senior clubs, WIZO, Black Student Union, and Asian Student Unions.
Okay. I'm a Rutgers senior.
First question, why do you think minorities need to create their own organization